Hey everybody, it's Jim. I'm here with another Weekend Grabs and Reviews video for you. I got a few goodies I picked up, and actually I've picked up quite a few over the past couple of weeks, but I thought I'd just hit the ones that maybe are lesser known and maybe even some older ones that you had forgotten about. So let's go ahead and get started and check them out. First one up is Lost in Hong Kong. This is a foreign film, of course, as you can tell. It follows Zilu, as he is actually a wannabe artist. And when he's in college, he meets the girl of his dreams and he really connects with her, but they just can't quite get together. And so, as fate would have it, life goes on and he becomes a big bra designer. And his company manufactures all these bras. And he's very, very successful, but he's not doing what he wants to do. He wants to be an artist. And most of his days, he sit pondering what could have been. And so at one point, the girl that he was in love with as college has moved on. She's become this world-renowned artist, and she's going to be in Hong Kong for a show. So she sends him a text and lets him know that she's going to be in town, and hopefully he can come meet her at the exhibit, and they can catch up on old times. So all of a sudden, his brain just starts going how, maybe this is the sign that he needs to actually get with the girl of his dreams and all this. Now, the only problem is he's married now, has children, and a crazy brother-in-law. So what happens is it's the whole movie is just him trying to get to this exhibit to see this girl of his dreams and all the craziness and just adventure that happens on the way to the exhibit. The brother-in-law is doing a documentary, so he's got a camera on all the time, and he's trying to film the brother. The brother's trying to be sneaky and not let him know exactly what he's going to do. Going to meet this other girl behind his brother-in-law's sister's back. And so it's just a crazy movie. It does have subtitles. I don't mind that personally. I know a lot of people don't like that. I get to where even on regular shows like on Netflix or something, I'll even run with the closed caption on it just so I don't miss anything. So the subtitles don't bother me. Really good movie. If you don't mind the subtitles, pick it up and check it out. We're seeing. Next we have Beyond the Reach. And this is with Michael Douglas and Jeremy Irvin. Michael Douglas plays a big-time game hunter, got lots of money, very successful man. He comes out, he wants to bag this lion that's out in this desert. So Jeremy Irvin is his guide for the day. So they get out there, and they're out in the desert. They drove forever. They sleep overnight. So they're way, way out. And they get up the next morning, and they're out, and Douglas sees what he thinks is the prey. He fires off a shot, and as fate would have it, it's just some guy. So then the dilemma is, do we tell somebody? What do we do? Michael Douglas has got tons of money. He decides, he's going to bribe this kid to keep his mouth shut, and everything's going to be fine. And at first, the kid kind of is like, I can go to school for free. I have money. This will be okay. Even though I know this guy he just killed, he's kind of a loner. I can probably live with this. The more he thinks about it, the more he can't. So he tells Douglas, look, we just got to call the police. We got to get this taken care of. We got to tell the truth on what's going on. Then all of a sudden, Jeremy Irvin's character becomes the prey. So Michael Douglas knows he can't let this kid get away because he'll go up for murder. He's going to lose his company. He's got plans in the works that this just can't derail. So he ends up hunting this kid through the desert. It's a pretty good cat and mouse movie. Kind of different from Michael Douglas. He really looks good. I know he just went through the cancer scare and everything, but this was really a pretty good movie to pick up. The ending was kind of odd. I won't go into that and ruin it for you if you want to check it out, but I had problems with endings a lot of the times. But this is really a pretty good cat and mouse movie. Check it out if you can pick it up cheap. You can see I didn't get it on Blu-ray. I picked it up for like $5, so pretty good. Worth checking out. Next is an old one that I know I had seen. This came out in 1985. It's called Moving Violation. It has John Murray, Jennifer Tilly, James Keach, Sally Kellerman. It just has a huge list. Where's the Beef Woman's in this. If you don't have a movie that has Where's the Beef Woman in it, you need to pick this up and put it in your collection. It's one of the great 85, classic movies. It's just they were rolling out these comedies one after another. This is just basically about a group of people that can't drive worth a damn, and so they have to go to driver's education class. And it's just what you would expect in the 80s fun comedy type movies like this. Some nudity, a lot of just funny scenes. Definitely worth checking out. It's highly predictable, of course, but if you don't have it, just a reminder that it's out there. You might want to check it out. Next up, we have Final Girl. Not to be confused with the one that I reviewed a couple weeks ago called The Final Girls. Even though this guy right here, Alexander Ludwig, which is today I guess he's more known in the series Vikings. He plays Ragnar's son. He's actually in both of these movies, which I thought was really crazy. He's in Final Girl and The Final Girls, and they both came out 2015. So that is crazy to me. Maybe not to you, but it is to me. Anyway, this movie is really good. The premise is kind of offsetting. This girl here, she is just a small girl. Her parents are killed. He takes over kind of training her how to defend herself and be an assassin. He takes her under her wings, and he's going to make her a trained killer. And what he does is he figures out that Alexander Ludwig has a group of tie-wearing killers that are going out and finding all these blonde girls, taking them out to the woods and letting them run for their lives, and then they'll track her down and kill them. And so he sets it up to where she goes into a diner and meets up with this guy because he knows exactly what he's going to do. And he does. He says, won't you be here Friday? We'll go out on a date. And she's like, well, what are we going to do? And he says, oh, you'll have the time of your life. And so she shows up, of course, and him and his 4 or 5 buddies show up in a car. And so they go out to the woods, and they're sitting around in some old beaten up couches and stuff. And she says, well, what do we do here? And they're like, well, we just sit here and drink and stuff, play truth or dare. And so they kind of play the game a little bit, and things escalate quickly. And she's told to run for her life. And so what they don't know is she's a trained killer, so it's their lives that are at stake and not so much hers. It's a really good movie. The premise of him taking her under his wing just to become an assassin is kind of out there, but it's kind of neat to have a movie like this where the guys really don't know what they're dealing with, and the girl is pretty much going to whoop some ass. So, pretty good movie. I'd check it out. Yeah. Let's see, next up, we have A Day of Anger. This is a Arrow release. I absolutely love Arrow. They do great packaging. Always has the disc. It has the new disc. It has the Italian release. It has a reversible cover. And it stars Lee Van Cleef. It's in 1967. It's basically about this character. He's in this town. He walks around. He empties the bedpans and things and cleans up the trash, and the townspeople are just really, really mean to him. And his goal is always he wanted to be a gunfighter. So the guy that he works with at the stable has kind of trained him a little bit on how to wear a gun and things. So he kind of has that in his mind that, as a fantasy, one of these days he's going to be a big gunslinger. But in reality, the townspeople just laugh at him, make fun of him, and he just does his menial tasks around town. But one day, Lee Van Cleef's character comes into town. He's a notorious gunfighter. The townspeople are kind of afraid of him, but Lee Van Cleef sees this kid as being kind of a loner, so he kind of takes him in, makes this kid feel welcome, and this kid's like, look at me, townspeople. I've got a pretty cool friend now. This guy, he's a gunslinger. I'm going to be a gunslinger. And lo and behold, Lee Van Cleef does teach him how to draw fast and the tricks of shooting and all these kind of things. And so this kid all of a sudden starts getting this posture that, I'm a super badass too, and, I'm with Lee Van Cleef. Well, as things go, the town starts getting overrun by Lee Van Cleef and some of his guys, and they start taking over, and this kid is still kind of in with Lee Van. He's like, well, he took care of me, and, I'm going to stick with him. And then one day, Lee Van Cleef ends up killing the stable guy that the young kid was working with. And so it kind of makes him see that Lee Van Cleef is actually a bad guy. And so it turns out to be A Day of Anger is what happens right there. So, typical Western, 1967 release, like I said. Looks beautiful. Arrow does such a good job. If you ever have a chance to pick up one of these Arrow movies, they like to do a lot of older movies that may be lesser known, but they do a great job on the packaging, and the picture is gorgeous. Check it out. Okay, up next is Intruders. This is a new release. I wasn't sure what to expect, so I just grabbed it on standard DVD. This is your normal home invasion movie. The problem is the girl that's left alone during the home invasion has this illness where she can't go outside. So the minute she steps out on the front porch, things start getting fuzzy and blurry, and she has to fall back into the house because she just can't take it. I'm not sure what the disease is called. I think they actually say it in the movie, but of course I'm not a doctor, so I don't remember what that was. But anyway, these guys come in to steal this money that they know that she has because her brother had recently died and he had some money. So it turns into be your typical home invasion movie, except the girls had opportunity to run out of the house but couldn't do it. She flings the door open, she just stands there and can't move, and the guy just kind of brings her back in and shuts the door. And so they're going to, rough her up until they find out where the money's at. And then has a really good twist in this movie. I would definitely recommend to check this out if you're a fan of horror, home invasion type things. The tables definitely get turned, I can tell you that. And you can get that from reading the back of this, from the back here. It'll tell you exactly what's going on. But anyway, check it out. Next, we have, I've got two more. I have The Boy here. It's not to be confused with The Boy that also came out this year, starring Lauren Cohan from The Walking Dead. That one's about a doll that comes to life, or a little boy's soul is in the doll or something. This is also The Boy. Doesn't have Lauren Cohan in it, but has the same title. This one stars David Morse. You might know him recently from the show Outsiders that's on. It's a series. Really good. He's been in a million things, Green Mile, things like that. And also Rainn Wilson's in this. And so it just follows the life of the little boy and his dad, which is played by David Morse. They kind of run this dilapidated old hotel, and nobody ever stays there, and it's just a hand-me-down. It used to be the place to go, but as times have changed, it's just kind of fallen away to the side, and not too many people stay there anymore. But the little boy, he just kind of works around there doing odd jobs. The dad pays him to keep roadkill cleaned up from in front of the hotel. And so the little boy's putting all these quarters in this jar because one day he hopes to be able to go to Florida, to where his mom ran away because she just couldn't take this life anymore. So the little boy's kind of saving up money for that. So he sometimes even puts garbage and things in the road, so cars that come around the corner will hit the animal, so he can get an extra 25 cents rather than just let nature take its course. So one night he's doing this little trick of his, and a deer actually walks out onto the road. And Rainn Wilson's character comes around the bend and, of course, hits the deer and wrecks his car. So he's tore it pretty bad. So he's staying in the hotel while his car's being fixed. And this little boy is just really, really odd. And he definitely doesn't want to be there. His dad, really doesn't want to be there either, but he kind of given up on life. And so what's this little boy going to do? He kind of is befriended by Rainn Wilson's character. And there's kind of some talk that Rainn Wilson is kind of on the lam because his wife might have got killed in a fire. Maybe he had something to do with it. Maybe he didn't. He tells the little boy, sometimes you just got to, get in a car and just go to wherever you want to go. And so the little boy thinks about this more and more. And as you can see by the box here, there's probably going to be some kind of catastrophe that happens. And Rainn Wilson may get blamed for it. You never know how it's going to work. But the little boy is definitely a little psycho. The actor that played the little boy, I don't remember what his name was, but he was okay in this. Not a standout job as far as the acting goes. I think he's only had 11 or 14 other things done, but it's a pretty good movie to check it out. Not a lot of rewatchability on this because you know exactly where it's going, and I would say if you could catch this on TV, I don't know, Netflix might carry it. I don't know if they do yet, but you might check this out and see. If you like it, definitely wouldn't purchase it just yet. Next up and last up, we have First Defense. It's from 1984. I saw this and I thought, I know I've seen that, but I really don't remember much about it. So I picked it up anyway. I threw it in, and it is so weird. This, like I said, this is a 1984 movie, so Eddie Murphy's coming in off the success of Beverly Hills Cop, and Dudley Moore, he's kind of coming. It's been a little while since he's had a big hit movie, but I got a feeling like Dudley Moore kind of threw in with Eddie Murphy, just trying to maybe kickstart his career again. But this movie is so strange. The most of the part of the movie with Dudley Moore is set in 1982, where he is the creator of this tank software, that this tank is supposed to be some kind of super tank and all that. And so he's trying to design this tank. And then it switches back to Eddie Murphy's part of the movie, which is set in 1984, where he actually is driving the tank. And they're having issues with it. And he's like, who built this tank? Who designed this thing? This is crazy. They not once interact with each other in the movie. They're never in a scene together. They never mention each other's characters. it is such a weird movie. Yeah, I watched the whole thing, and it was okay, but it was just strange that they weren't in the movie together. So I don't know. Maybe if you remember this movie, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. If not, definitely don't pick it up for more than $4 or $5 if you want to check it out, because it is pretty bad. So anyway, that's all I got for you. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.